Can you see 2 or 3 years down the line if Bobby's air drying his butthole and you're like, look, and you're like, just pretend like he's not there.
I know, I understand.
And yeah, all his fears, like, oh, there is a really attractive guy on Instagram hitting me up. Can he join us?
Well, I'll tell you my answer right now.
Yeah, let's hear it.
No, I cannot do that.
And what about in reverse? Hey, I see there's really hot
I don't want to
chicks
do that either. I don't want to do that either.
I don't see Bobby being the.
Hello. I think I tried to do this video earlier, but it was trash. I was having a hard time. But we're back. We're going to make this quick and short, and we're going to be very specific, and we're just going quick. That's the goal. Quick. We're going to make it quick. We're going to be in and out. Oh, what is the word? What's the word? Word around town. The word on the town. What's the town? YouTube town. And the algorithms. It's been on my feed for like the past week and a half. I cannot get away from it. And neither do I want to. Do I even want to get away from it? No, it's been very entertaining. It's taking away all mental thought of my own life, and I've been able to just lean on the ride that is the relationship of Bobby Lee and Khalyla Kuhn. You don't know, they're podcasters. Bobby Lee, if you're in America, you probably at least seen his face. Mad TV, comedy, all the other stuff. Khalyla Kuhn, she came in through Bobby Lee. That's his boo. And their thing. But there's been so much drama with them, Brendan Schwab, drama with them in the relationship, drama with them and the internet talking about the relationship. And I don't care per se. I don't know these people. I like them for entertainment purposes only, but they give me a good opportunity to talk about things that I like talking about. And if you've been on this channel before, you know I just like any opportunity where I can just talk about how things, I don't want to say work, but how they can look and what they can mean. Like if you're familiar with my 6 Society series, you know that is just based on how can we see the sickness in our society? How can we view things that are regular around us or irregular to how things should be? That might be vague, but if you've seen the series, you know what we're talking about. But listen, right now we're talking about this. Is Khalyla Kuhn manipulating Bobby Lee? Now, there's some ways that she can be. But before we get into that, let me just say, I don't know. Don't know these people. Honestly, they've been on so many different podcasts talking about this. Everybody in the podcast that they do, they're all kind of connected in the podcast world. This could just be some YouTube entertainment to spark things up. Who knows? We don't know these people. I don't, at least. But I will say, here are the things that could be signs of manipulation. Things that are on view clearly for us to see that they share with the audience. Right here, this clip that I just played for a second, it was them from, I don't know when they recorded this. It seems older just from the picture quality and the colors. It seems like an older podcast, but here they're talking about open relationship because Khalyla talked about the throuple she was in, where she had 2 boyfriends living in the same house. And I mean, this conversation about this relationship is, you know, I mean, that's their job. They talk. So it's like, how many things can you have to talk about? But they talked about this, or at least she talked about this a lot. You can just type your name up. A video about this will come up. You don't even have to do much work. That's how often this conversation arrives. But in this clip, they asked Bobby, "What about you? Are you interested?" He said, "No, never." Years later, it's clear at some point that changed because they have admitted to an open relationship. Now, manipulation. Was there manipulation to get from A to B? Who knows? But let's break it down where manipulation can happen and where manipulation can be happening in your life. Before we begin, I would like to bring up the fact that I have been reading some Milton E. Erickson. I've been reading a bit Barbara Goldsmith, Other Powers, a little bit off topic, but I've learned some stuff from both of these books that have, just about how people get their way. Now let's go to here. Let's go back to the beginning. It went from a no here. But the conversation. Now let's talk about how this works in the brain, in the human. Repetition. Repetition makes people comfortable. That's why, you get a big movie, they're going to get a name that they already know, that the people already know because they already feel comfortable with that person. So it'll be easier to sell. Now, this can be applied in the idea of polygamy or polyamory. I don't know which one it is. It's one or the other. That's not my realm of expertise. This conversation is a repetitive conversation that if you watch the show or the clips, you've seen that it comes up a lot. And the idea that is proposed by keyboard warriors of the internet, the Reddit streams, the comment sections of YouTube is that this was a form of grooming to make the idea acceptable, to make the idea light. There's clips where this hard no that Bobby would give to this idea was not reciprocated with a hard no also from Khalyla, but a flexibility of, well, what is monogamy? What is polygamy? We all know how this goes, or we know how the idea of not giving a straightforward, concrete answer, leaving the door open, should we say. So that's a technique that you might hear when you're around somebody who's trying to manipulate. Another idea. And I did this live before. I did this live literally like 30 minutes before this live, but I deleted it because I had too many gaps. I was stumbling around, but I'm a little bit more sure because I know exactly now what I want to say. All right, that's the first thing you want. Be always in the. It's like when you're around a little kid. Just to make this video a little bit more like, it's like when you're around a little kid and you have some chips, and the kid would just talk about the chips because they want some chips. So they would be like, "Oh, those chips aren't even hot. They're not even spicy. I can eat all. You know how many bags? Do you know how many bags of chips I can eat in one day? I can eat like 20 bags." And the kid would just talk about the chips because they want the chips. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm being as straightforward as somebody who would try to manipulate. Just as straightforward they will be. It can't be exactly straightforward. Yeah, it's curved a little bit. But there we go. That's in one form that's possible. That could be a manipulation tactic. It's possible. Again, I don't know. Don't know these people. Now, Bobby Lee. here's another reason why the internet, the comment sections, the Reddit, what do you call Reddit? Do you call them Reddit comment sections, or is this Reddit blogs? I don't know. You also see, and he does. I don't know if it's an act. Again, he as he speaks, he's very open about his trauma. He is open about his insecurities, but sometimes he comes off as he's so anti-conflict, and he's so open with the trauma that he's faced and how it's affected his life. And he's also, from what I've seen, the more I watch, and also this is just all an idea that I've received just from a YouTube podcast. So I've never met him, but he seems a little bit more simple than maybe his flamboyant theatrics. He seems like he likes things to remain the same. He likes things to remain simple. I can see why. He goes on the road, he's a comedian, he has to do all this work, he's in Hollywood, it's understandable. And the second thing that can pique the ears of people listening or watching to the conflict is that maybe he's a target. And they say that because Khalyla, she's quote unquote beautiful, and Bobby Lee, he's short and older and whatever you want to say. So when you have the first thing I said, you have the second, which was the repetition, the familiarity of the idea, followed by the idea that people who watch this, a lot of people already think that she's a gold digger there because he's a target, whatever. It's easy when all this happens and we get the Carfax that there was an open relationship at one point, to point the finger at Khalyla and say she was manipulative and she was there for the money and now she's doing whatever she wants to do and yada yada yada. Again, I don't care. But just to try to gain any type of education, any type of living tactics, I don't even know what, any type of defense. This can be an example that can provide any type of information to people who have these concerns and are watching this, and they might be triggered. I've seen a lot of people in comment sections making YouTube videos, and they talk about Khalyla and Bobby and the Tiger Belly podcast, and they just seem to be triggered. Instead of being like, oh, wow, that's an interesting story, they get personally worked up. And I believe that's because in their lives, they've either been manipulated or they've seen people get manipulated and they didn't know what to do. And so when they see another example that may be real, maybe not, through YouTube, boom, there you go, they're triggered, and now they're just, she's blah, 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 name calling, all this other stuff. You know how the internet goes. But as another example, let's me just give another example of case this is a manipulation and you're trying to learn, you're triggered, you've been searching this on YouTube, blah blah blah. Their relationship goes further than just boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Their relationship, they're intertwined in a way where I've never been intertwined with somebody so deep, where it's like the business is intertwined, the relationships, the personal relationships, everything is together. And it's like, can Bobby just leave? People, I've seen that comment. Bobby, just leave. One man, what makes you think he wants to leave? When does he say he wants to leave? But let me just scratch that before we who wants to leave. Let's just take this scenario away from Khalyla and Bobby. Let's take this into, let's reverse the roles. Let's take this away and also reverse the roles. Let's make this a man and a woman. The man is abusive. And it started off nice, started off good, and then they got together, and then they had a baby. Now they're connected with this baby, and now they have a house, they have a home together. So they have a home, they have a baby, they're married, and turns out the man's abusive. You're not only will be leaving man in this situation, you will have to figure out, are you going to leave this house, this home? Are you going to fight for this home? Are you going to leave and take the baby and have the baby live without a father? Are you going to leave the baby and have the baby live without a mother? When things are jam packed with responsibilities, let me rephrase that. When relationships are jam packed with responsibilities, they're jam packed with obligations, they're jam packed with relationships and attachments. Maybe it could be even a pet. Um, these are also mm, in, in manipulators' eyes, they can be used as tools to leverage themselves and their power so that they can have their way without risking the relationship. Yeah, man. I know, right? That sounds like a lot. And this is all being implied about their relationship by people just across the world who watch their podcast. Should I think? Do I think it's appropriate? Eh, no, but do I also think it's a good learning moment? Yes, I do, because outside Khalyla Kuhn and Bobby Lee and Khalyla Kuhn, there are many people across the world who are living like this. Who are living in a constant struggle between, not even between, just in the midst of manipulation. Some know it, some don't. And I feel like this is a good opportunity, instead of name calling, instead of bashing. I think it's a perfect opportunity to point out what is manipulation, how does manipulation show, how does it feel, and then we can teach each other. And then as people, we can take charge of our personal lives and avoid being manipulated. And that's my goal. My goal is not to tear down any of these people who don't care. At all times, my goal is to teach so that we can all avoid just the bullshit. Before we go, let's just look up manipulation. What is manipulation? Manipulation, the action of what is wrong with me? Manipulation, the action of manipulating something in a skillful manner. Well, those little three pinpoints that I had, it takes skills to do those. It takes skill. It takes skill. Just keeping things familiar, uh, keeping things up in the air, never being concrete, being open and making everything flexible, never giving your partner a concrete uh, idea to stand for, stand on, I'm looking for a different word other than flexible. I feel like I've used flexible too much for that. I want a pronoun. But let's look for the action of manipulating someone in a clever or unscrupulous way. I will say this. Khalyla, she does seem to be clever. She seems like a clever woman. I don't think she would be able to do everything she does without, and then that's not guard manipulation, but just helping Bob Lee with the podcast and everything else they've been able to do without being clever. They seem like intelligent people, but anyone is open to being a bit manipulated. But yeah. If you like the video, like it. If you want to share it, share it. But at the end of the day, I hope maybe I was able to teach something. And if not, I'll try again next time. Either way, have a good night, everybody.